we're going to talk about surrender. Now, when you hear that word, what comes up for you? For many of us, surrender can feel like weakness, like giving up, like waving a white flag in the face of life's challenges. But what if I told you that true surrender is actually a source of incredible strength? Surrender, in its most powerful form, is not about giving up, but about letting go. It's about releasing the tight grip of control and stepping into a space of trust and acceptance. It's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers, that life unfolds in its own way, and that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to surrender to the flow. This isn't about becoming passive or resigning ourselves to difficult situations. It's about choosing to approach life's uncertainties and challenges with an open heart and a willingness to let go of the need to control every outcome. It's about embracing the unknown, even when it feels scary, and trusting that we have the resilience to navigate whatever comes our way. This series is an invitation to explore the transformative power of surrender in our lives. We'll dive deep into the ways that letting go can unlock a more joyful, peaceful, and fulfilling existence. We'll talk about the courage it takes to surrender, the misconceptions that hold us back, and the incredible freedom that comes when we finally let go. Let's talk about stress and anxiety, two unwelcome companions that many of us know all too well. So much of our stress comes from that relentless need to control, to manipulate, to orchestrate every single outcome in our lives. We cling tightly to how we think things should be, to our plans, to our expectations. But here's the thing about control. It's often an illusion. We can't predict the future. We can't control other people. And the more we try to force things to go our way, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, and ultimately, more stress. Surrender, on the other hand, invites us to loosen our grip. It asks us to breathe deeply into the uncertainty and to trust that even without absolute control, things will eventually work out. It's about accepting that there's a natural ebb and flow to life, and sometimes the most peaceful thing we can do is ride the waves instead of fighting against the current. Think about a time when you were clinging tightly to a desired outcome. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or a particular goal. Remember that feeling of tension, of worry, of constantly trying to force things to go your way. Now imagine letting go of that need to control, of surrendering to the possibility that things might unfold differently than you planned. Can you feel the weight lifting, the space for peace to enter? So many of us are in a constant state of striving for the next achievement, the next milestone, the next thing that we believe will finally bring us happiness. We live in a culture that often equates happiness with external markers of success, with having more, achieving more, and constantly proving ourselves. But what if true happiness, that deep sense of inner peace and contentment, isn't something we chase, but something we cultivate from within? What if it's not about acquiring more, but about letting go of the attachments that keep us feeling separate, incomplete, and perpetually yearning for something more? Surrender in this context is about releasing the grip on those external attachments. It's about recognizing that true happiness isn't found in material possessions, social status, or the validation of others. It's about connecting to something deeper, to a sense of wholeness and worthiness that resides within each and every one of us. It's about letting go of the need to control, to manipulate, to force things to go our way. It's about finding peace in the present moment, in the unfolding of life exactly as it is, even if it doesn't look how we thought it should. We long for connection, for deep and meaningful relationships. But so often we sabotage these connections with our own expectations. We hold on to these rigid ideas of who our partners should be, how they should act, how the relationship should look. And when reality inevitably bumps up against these expectations, we find ourselves caught in frustration, resentment, and disappointment. Surrender, in this context, is about releasing those expectations. It's about creating space for our loved ones to be fully themselves, even if that looks different from the picture we've painted in our minds. Letting go of the need to control the relationship opens the door to genuine acceptance, to embracing the beautiful messiness of two imperfect humans choosing to love each other. It's about understanding that our partners are not here to complete us, but to complement us, to walk alongside us, to support us, to challenge us, to grow with us. But their journey is not ours to dictate. When we surrender our need for control, we allow the relationship to unfold organically, authentically, and often in ways more beautiful than we could have ever orchestrated. This doesn't mean we abandon our needs or desires within the relationship. It's about communicating them with vulnerability and openness, without demanding or expecting our partners to fulfill them in a specific way. It's about creating a space of mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to meet each other with compassion and curiosity. Creativity thrives in the fertile ground of freedom. Freedom from self-doubt, from the inner critic, from the relentless pressure to perform and produce. But too often, we confine our creativity within the rigid bars of our own expectations. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, not talented enough, not original enough. We compare our work to others, measuring and judging, silencing the whispers of inspiration before they can even take flight. We become so fixated on the outcome, on achieving perfection, that we lose sight of the joy of creation itself. Surrender, in this context, is about releasing the need for control, for perfection, for external validation. It's about silencing the inner critic and giving ourselves permission to simply create for the pure joy of it. To play, to experiment, to explore without judgment or expectation. When we let go of the need to get it right, we open ourselves up to the possibility of surprise, of discovery, of stumbling upon something truly unique and authentic. We tap into a wellspring of creativity that flows from a place of deep inner connection, rather than external pressure. Life is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and adversity. It's a journey that inevitably takes us through valleys of darkness and peaks of exhilaration. And while we may yearn for a life free from hardship, it's often in those challenging moments that we discover our greatest strength and resilience. We often cling to the illusion of control, believing that we can somehow orchestrate our lives to avoid pain, disappointment, or loss. But the truth is, life unfolds in its own time, in its own way. And when we resist this reality, when we rail against the things we cannot change, we create unnecessary suffering. Surrender, in this context, is about accepting the impermanence of life, the ebb and flow of circumstance. It's about acknowledging that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we choose to respond. It's about finding the courage to let go of what we wish were different, and to embrace the reality of what is. This doesn't mean we become passive in the face of adversity. It's about recognizing that our energy is best spent not on resisting what is, but on adapting to the ever-changing landscape of life. It's about finding the strength to navigate the storms, knowing that even in the darkest of nights, the dawn will eventually break. We often think about spirituality as something we pursue, something we chase after. We read books, attend workshops, and meditate for hours, trying to force a connection. But what if I told you that sometimes the most powerful way to connect with something bigger than ourselves is to simply let go, to surrender control? Surrender, in its truest form, is about releasing the tight grip we have on how we think things should be. It's about acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's in those moments of surrender, when we release our need to control, that we open ourselves up to a power far greater than our own. This doesn't mean we become passive or give up on our dreams. It simply means we soften our grip, allowing ourselves to be guided, supported, and loved by something beyond our limited understanding. It's in the act of surrender that we often find the answers we've been seeking, the peace we've been longing for, and the connection we've been yearning to experience. It's a paradox, really. The more we let go, the more we receive. Our minds are incredible tools, capable of analyzing, strategizing, and problem-solving with remarkable efficiency. But sometimes, our minds can also be our own worst enemies. We get caught in a loop of overthinking, analyzing every angle, and second-guessing ourselves into a state of paralysis. We live in a culture that often praises logic and reason above all else. But what about that quiet whisper within? That gut feeling that guides us, often without explanation? That, my friends, is your intuition speaking. And when we're constantly in our heads, overthinking and analyzing every little thing, it's like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a hurricane. The noise becomes deafening, drowning out the subtle yet powerful voice of our intuition. Surrender in this context is about learning to quiet the mind, to create space for that inner wisdom to emerge. It's about learning to trust that still, small voice within, even when it doesn't make logical sense. We are often our own harshest critics. We judge ourselves for our mistakes, our perceived failures, and our imperfections. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, constantly striving for something that feels just out of reach. This relentless self-judgment can be exhausting, leaving us feeling inadequate, unworthy, and disconnected from ourselves and others. But what if I told you that true freedom comes from surrendering to who you are in this moment, imperfections and all? What if the key to unlocking your greatest potential lies in embracing your whole self, the good, the bad, and the perfectly imperfect? Surrender in this context is about letting go of the need to be perfect. It's about releasing the self-judgment and embracing yourself with kindness, compassion, and unconditional love. We spend so much time trying to fit in, to meet the expectations of others, that we lose sight of who we truly are. We chase after external validation, seeking approval from the world around us, but true freedom comes from within. It's about letting go of the shoulds and the supposed tos that society has imposed upon us. Surrender, in this sense, is about releasing the need to please everyone and instead embracing our own unique path. It's about recognizing that our worthiness is not determined by external factors, but by the courage to be our authentic selves. When we let go of the need for external validation, we create space for our true selves to emerge. We give ourselves permission to pursue our passions, embrace our quirks, and live a life that aligns with our values. This doesn't mean we disregard the opinions of others altogether. It's about discerning between constructive feedback and expectations that no longer serve us. It's about recognizing that authenticity is not about perfection, but about showing up in the world as our most genuine selves. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only moment we truly have is the present. Yet how often do we find ourselves dwelling on past regrets or worrying about future uncertainties? We carry the weight of yesterday and the burden of tomorrow, robbing ourselves of the joy that exists in this very moment. Surrendering to the present moment is about letting go of that baggage. It's about releasing the grip of the past and the anxiety of the future, choosing instead to focus our attention on the here and now. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for cultivating present moment awareness. It's about paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It's about noticing the beauty in the ordinary, the simple pleasures that often go unnoticed when our minds are racing. When we are fully present, we are more attuned to our experiences. We savor the sweetness of a ripe strawberry, feel the warmth of the sun on our skin, and appreciate the laughter of loved ones with a depth that eludes us when we are lost in thought. Embracing the present moment doesn't mean we ignore our goals or responsibilities. It simply means we approach them from a place of presence rather than anxiety. We take action from a place of groundedness, knowing that we are exactly where we need to be in this moment. When we surrender to the present, we open ourselves up to a deeper experience of life. We cultivate gratitude for the gifts in front of us, find joy in the simplest of things, and experience a sense of peace that transcends the chaos of daily life. Life is a series of fleeting moments, each one precious and unique. By learning to embrace the present, we unlock the fullness of our lives, experiencing the richness and beauty that exists in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every step we take. Remember, the present moment is a gift. Let's not waste it by dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Let's choose to be fully present, to savor the sweetness of now, and experience the joy that comes from surrendering to the present moment. Throughout this journey, we've explored the 10 profound benefits of surrender-reduced stress and anxiety, increased inner peace and happiness, improved relationships, enhanced creativity and flow, greater resilience and adaptability, a deeper spiritual connection, stronger intuition and trust, increased self-acceptance and compassion, a more authentic life, and the ability to embrace the present moment. These benefits are not merely concepts, they are invitations to transform our lives. Surrender is a practice, a conscious choice we make each day to release control, embrace uncertainty, and trust in the unfolding of our lives. Start small. Begin by incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine. Try a simple meditation practice, even for just a few minutes each day. Journal about your experiences with surrender, noticing the shifts in your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Remember, surrender is not about giving up. It's about showing up for ourselves and our lives with an open heart, a willingness to let go, and a deep trust in the journey. Embrace the transformative power of surrender and witness the profound impact it can have on your life.